a student has to run from help. Now, mottos are just words, but they're very powerful words because they send signals about what is a core value and what are norms in that culture. And sometimes when I present this theme, some people say, that's kind of sounds like hand-holding, and we got this whole helicopter parent thing going on. Do we really want to contribute to that? And I'm not saying like we should be responding to every complaint or need when I'm talking about this. I'm saying if we're going to have support structures and scholarship opportunities and engagement opportunities and opportunities to go participate in conferences or go abroad, we need to make sure that a first-generation student who does not have the capital within their family to know that those supports and those opportunities even exist, know that they're out there, because we can't expect them to go seek things that they might not even know exist, right? So on campuses that seem to be doing better, they're very proactive at pushing students to take advantage of the opportunities that are out there. Holistic support is one that has to do with the degree to which students can identify at least one person as the point person through which they can access the larger support networks on campus. Or put another way, they can identify one person that will either answer their question, give them the support that they need, or connect them with the people who can provide that. And often how you see this play out are the ways in which institutional agents become that holistic support person is that they say, I have a responsibility to have friends across the campus who I know will take care of students if they need their help. So if I'm an academic advisor and I have a student who is experiencing mental health issues, rather than saying, you should really go do something about that. Like you should go schedule an appointment with the counselor, go take care of it. On some campuses, they will say, no, I got a friend over in the counseling office. I will walk the student over there to make sure that they not only schedule the appointment, but that they're now on the radar of the counselor, and their issue will be addressed in some way, right? And the last one is probably the most commonly recurring theme in all of the research we've done. The idea that students need people on campus who they feel care about them and are committed to their success. We're really good at dehumanizing environments in higher education. But when you talk to students who are in their third or fourth year and they're about to graduate, they will almost always say, when you ask them why did they succeed, they will almost always point out one person or two people who they're like, that person really cared, and they were there for me. And it wasn't just because they provided the students with support, but it was also that now the students were committed to that person and succeeding for them. And they tell you, if I fail, like I let these people down who have invested in me so much during my time here. How much time? 2 minutes, okay. All right, really quickly, two slides left, really quickly. Just a few messages I wanted to drive home. Cultural engagement is integral to success. These indicators are about creating an environment that's humanized and makes people feel like they matter and they belong and they're relevant, because that's a human need that we all have. But they're also empirically linked to success. So this is not just about being inclusive for the sake of being inclusive. If we're saying that we're committed to the success of all students, then we need to be thinking about these things that I'm talking about. The second one is relevance and learning are mutually reinforcing. So sometimes when I talk about this, people feel like it's too much about support. But as I said earlier, when you create an environment that is relevant to many different identities and many different communities, it's a more vibrant environment. People are exposed to many different perspectives, right? Which we know facilitates, again, all kinds of positive outcomes and prepares all students to function better in a diverse global world. The third one is students are rich source of knowledge, and I can talk, if you all want to talk more about how we've seen student voice leveraged in order to facilitate change, I can do that. For the sake of time, I'm going to move on. And then the last one is think systemically. And I know that Project Inclusion is already driving that home as an important point, but I don't think it hurts to drive it home again. We have gone too long by isolating efforts and, pawning the responsibility off on a few people on campus, and that is part of the reason why we're experiencing the racial tensions that we're experiencing across the nation right now. And if we don't do things differently, it's not going to get any better, because campuses around the country are going to continue to get more diverse, and as voices of marginalized populations grow to the point where they can express their concerns, tensions will rise. And then just a quick word about thinking systemically. So when I go to campuses and I talk about change, a lot of times what I hear is, it seems like almost everywhere, people point out faculty as being the problem. They're like, you can't get them to do anything. They got tenure, like they're a lost cause. And I'm like, well, okay, I know there's some truth to that. I'm not denying that, but rather than just pointing the finger, this is a systemic problem. Can we think about this systemically? A faculty member is embedded within a system, right? So how are we creating support structures like grants that encourage them to do this, like library resources that help them find sources to diversify their courses, like centers for teaching and learning that might provide course releases so that they can engage in meaningful conversations about how to transform themselves and their pedagogy, which is hard work, over the course of a semester, a year. And how are we transforming our reward structures as well, in order to not mandate, but incentivize or encourage faculty to engage in this kind of work. So, so each problem, when I say systemically, I'm thinking each problem, like faculty not getting on board, can be viewed from a systemic perspective, right? And we have to begin thinking in those ways if we really want transformation to occur. And I'll just leave this up there. I think I'm out of time. Oh, okay, great. Plenty of time. So, in that case, I'm going to go back. So one of the things that I wanted to highlight is the communities of practice, one term that we used for this. But one of the things that we learned through our research was that, just to make another point about why it's important to think systemically about these issues. If you're a faculty member who has for 40 years been doing work the same way, you've been rewarded by it, you've been successful because of it, and you never included diversity in your pedagogy or curriculum. Not only that, but you're probably working 60, 70 hours a week like most faculty are, and then someone comes along and tells you, by the way, be more inclusive. To think that a person is going to transform overnight is unrealistic. For many of us who do this work, it has been a lifetime of accumulating experiences that have taught us and thinking about these issues, so that we learned about the importance of things like culture. And for people who have not been doing that on a daily basis, that's unrealistic to tell them to transform overnight. So we need to create space and time for them, at least the ones who are willing to engage, to actually engage in meaningful ways to figure out how to do that. So one of the things that our project is going to start doing in the fall is going to campuses and doing retreats where we bring together for, to build a community, and for 2 or 3 days unpack the identity and how their identity might shape their approach to thinking about curriculum and pedagogy, and create some vulnerability, which I believe is important when we're talking about engaging in these issues. But most importantly, creating a community that will be sustained when we leave, because you can't have much impact over the course of 2 or 3 days. But we're going to make sure that we cultivate a community that the institution will, have a responsibility to sustain, so that faculty who might not want to go here because they're afraid they're going to embrace us, they're afraid they're going to say the wrong thing, have supports to learn, figure out how to do it most effectively over the long term, right? But that's just one way to create one support structure to facilitate that kind of change. Sorry, Mike.
No, I just want to give us a little time for asking you questions, because we're still on, but we want to give people time to finish the last sentence.
On this slide are the various tools and support services that we're developing and will be making available over this next academic year for campuses that are really serious about engaging in this work.
So